G'day, welcome along. Finroo, how you doing? It's just to pick this up. Okay. Yeah, so still in Twizel. We've had some really rough weather here. But over the last week, the brewing that I've been doing is I made some sauerkraut, and I also went ahead and did some. These are just cucumbers I've sliced up, and some tomatoes and chilies, beans, more cucumbers, and capsicum peppers and chili peppers. Yeah. So what I did, the first thing that I did was I thought to myself, I can't brew. I haven't got my gear or anything like that. And Baxter, go. So I thought I'll make some. I asked my wife. I said, "Can you go when you go to the op shop down here? Can you see if they've got any jars so I can? I wouldn't mind doing some pickles and things like that." So came home with, I guess it was about 8 or 10 of these jars, which are wonderful for the job. So had a bit of a peruse around on the internet and looked at lactic fermentation. Very popular, of course, in sauerkraut, which is, I think, what this is. What I'm trying to do, I'm going to do a video about how I do it once I've got my process sorted out. This is very good. This is nice. I had some earlier this morning. It's just cabbage with salt, and I basically just squeezed the cabbage until all the brine water came out. All the brine came out of all the liquid came out of the leaves of the cabbage. The chopped cabbage, and with the salt, and it drew it all out. The next morning I put it in a jar and packed it down. It is quite salty. My levels of salt I haven't got right yet, but they're all different in each of these ones here. The beans, I tried a couple of beans before, very good, very good. Once again, there's a different recipe for that. This one here is similar to the sauerkraut. I used sprinkled salt with these with tomatoes and chili. And then the next morning, with all the liquids come out, I packed them in. I didn't add any brine to it, and I've been fermenting in the lounge room. But these ones here, I've tasted these. There's bubbles coming up in it. Go, Baxter, go. It's my dog, as many of you know. These ones here, I've tasted them this morning, and they're not too salty. And this was a different method that I used. And as I say, I'll get once I've got the method for lactic fermenting done, and the amount of salt that I need and whatnot for each brew. That's quite tight. That needs to be burped. And once I've done that, I'll let you know what my recipe coming out at. But this one here, I made a brine for it, chopped up the cucumbers, put them in, made a brine up. It was actually just a brine with half a litre of water and 1 tablespoon of sea salt. Mixed that all up, poured it in on top, screwed the lid down. And that is a good taste. It's not too salty, whereas the other ones, some of the other ones are a bit salty. This one here, this is quite salty. Not too bad. I think the sauerkraut, I put too much salt in when I was massaging it into the lettuce, and I just think it's a little bit too salty. But it's all trial and error, and really good fun. So I made these, just made a cup, one each day sort of thing, over the period of a few weeks, a couple of weeks, and that's what I've come up with, and it's working out really good. And I hope you guys are doing well. I went to, better have wet my whistle. I went to the bottle shop the other day, and because I thought to myself, because it's been raining here, really snow low on the mountains, and I thought I might grab a bottle of whiskey and sit by the fire, which I did. But when I went to the bottle shop, I found this, and I'm a sucker for these sorts of things, even though I don't really think you should be paying extra for the packaging and everything. This is a beautiful tin case. You can see it all right there. Beautiful tin case, got the 2 glasses. And yeah, really good. And I've had it before, Teeling's, many times for many years. It's a very, very nice Irish whiskey, brewed in Dublin, and I think it's the first brewery in Dublin in 150 odd years, because they had a law there that you weren't allowed to brew or store whiskey in Dublin, because they had a huge fire there when the whiskey warehouse caught fire, and people were actually killed. This is going way back, but so this is bottled at 46%. 46% Irish non-chill filter. It's got its batch number and everything like this. A small cask, small batch, and it's a beautiful drop. Really, really enjoy it. Does take a little bit of water. 46%. I found that it's just slightly better. I found it quite hot. So I've got my little teaspoon here, and I found it four to be the spot that it opens out the best. So it's a beautiful colour. Pretty sure there's no colouring added, but it's non-chill filtered. Very, very nice. It's that triple distilled Irish style. I'm always getting those pear notes, apple notes. What does it say on the box? But I always get that from these. I actually really, really enjoy Irish distilled whiskey. So it's been small batch bottling, consists of hand-selected casks of bourbon, aged in Irish bourbon casks, aged Irish whiskey, which are given further maturation in ex-rum barrels, imparting a unique dried fruit character. This is not how everyone makes Irish whiskey, but it's our way. That's the spirit of Dublin. That's the spirit. Sláinte. Just held in the mouth for a while. Really releases a lot of those flavours, and you get a lot more flavour than just taking it straight down. And it's lingering, and it's full, and yeah, dried fruit flavours is. You get that. I get the pear and everything like that when I first smell it. Probably if I just sipped it down, pear and apple, but the dark fruits. There's date there. There's what do you call that dark fruit? You know, the plums, those big dark plums, bit dried, raisin. In fact, just had a thought then of, do you remember that? I think it was a 13% craft beer that I had, and that had that raisin in it, and that's just reminded me of that, funny enough. Although in that beer it was really, really prominent. Way you go, Baxter. Good boy. Way you go. Always thinks I'm talking to him. Way you go. So finally we've got some sun. Cheers. Finally we've got some sun. As I say, it's been cold, bitterly cold, heavy rain, drizzle. I've got a beautiful fire going in there, which has been fantastic. Another thing I just want to quickly talk about is this is Homebrew Connected here. These are some of the bottle openers that I've been making. You can see them okay. I actually can't see the screen on my camera because of the sun, but you can see here I've got the screw that on there, and they've been all oiled and waxed with beeswax, and the holes in the top, and they just screw onto the wall, and you put your how you doing on that. Another one here. This still have to put a hole in this one, but this one came out really good. Still have to put a hole in it, but that came out nice. Once again, it's been oiled a lot and beeswax. It's all beautiful and smooth. And one that's slightly different is this one here, where I I Mod Podged. It's kind of a glue thing that you put on. You put on the wood. The wood has to be nice and dry and flat, and you take a photocopy of the picture you want, and then you put picture side down. You put it onto there, and you well, I just rubbed it in with a cloth, the back of the picture, and then left it to set overnight, and then the next day, you come in and you just wet the paper, and you pull the paper bits, pull the paper off with your fingers. Pull the paper off your fingers, and if you're lucky, the print's left behind, and then I just covered that with sealed it with a polypropylene. It's come up very nice, but I would like to do some with a stain on it as well, so it's darker, darker like these ones here. I think that would look quite good. So, but I can't use an oil or anything like that, because then I can't get the picture to stick. So what I think I might do is try using some stain. Just Google picture transfer onto wood. You might have to write Mod Podge in, but it'll probably come up as that. So it's cool, and you can have anything. You might have I did one with a guy with a Viking guy, but unfortunately it didn't turn out because I was trying to put it onto the oiled wood. But I'm going to leave this one here for the fella who's let me stay at his house. He's so kind. Yeah, old Brian, really, really top man. And so I'm here for another month, believe it or not. So that's it. I'm really missing the brewing, my home brewing. I've been looking forward to. I'm looking forward to getting back into that when I get back. As I say, I'm another month here. The weather is getting very cold now. The photos and videos I took a few months ago, all the sunshine and dog in the water and the beautiful skies and just lapping up the sun. Beautiful sunny day today, no wind, but by geez, I tell you what, later in the day that wind the temperature starts to really dropping down to about zero, -1. And once the fire in the house goes out, first thing I do in the morning when I get up is put the coffee on and get that fire going. So I'm happy. We haven't been out for a few days. Baxter's wanting to go for a walk, so but I'm enjoying the sun, and my fatigue hasn't been too bad. It was a bit rough last week, but that's the way it goes. I'm just trying to relax and just get some energy back. I've enjoyed doing these pickles. As I say, once I get the recipe right, and it will be simple. I mean, these ones here with the the cucumber, that's probably the best recipe. They're very nice, still crispy. They're not too salty, so I think that's just a little bit of a thing you have to watch. And I'll do some experimenting. If the longer I leave the ferment going, will that saltiness go away? I wouldn't have a clue. I mean, you can research as much. I always say this, don't I? You can research as much as you like, but at the end of the day, it's not until you start having a go yourself, just like a home brewing, having a go yourself and getting in there and doing it and see how it turns out and learning and keeping your notes. And I'm really keen to get into this. I did pickles. I did pickles a few years ago, and they were good, but I'm really keen on getting into this lactic acid, I can't remember the name of it. It's sort of like a bacteria, a sort of yeast thing. And the idea of the salt is it drops the pH right down and kills all the other bacteria in the jar. And so but the lactic bacteria, it can actually start fermenting at that pH level, which is right down. I haven't got my pH meter, so I don't know, but I'll get into it, and I'll start adding it into my my home brewing things, something a bit different than beer. It is interesting. I used to think that lactose and lactic were the sort of same family, same thing, but it is not. Baxter, go. Sorry, I have to speak to him like that. My wife tells me off for speaking to him like that, being gruff, but otherwise he's gone and sat down now. Bloody miserable, bloody. I used to think that lactic acid or lactic fermentation and lactose was a similar sort of thing together, but they're not. They're totally different things. Lactose, milk sugar, will actually break down and start forming lactic lactic acids, lactobacillus, I think it is, lactobacillus, lacto, lactobacillus, something like that. It will actually start breaking down from milk sugars, but it will also from everything else as well. From sugars in plants, which is obviously what's happening down here with the vegetables. And I did a mash once where I left the mash for 2 days, overnight mash for 2 days, because I got up to do my home brew after doing the overnight mash, and I was so fatigued that I just couldn't do a brew day. It just wasn't going to happen. So I left it for another day, and then I did it, brewed the beer, kegged it, all the rest of it. It was sour. It wasn't too sour. It was really quite nice, but that's what had happened. It had sour. It started breaking down. The lactic bacteria started to thrive in my mash, and doesn't seem to get killed by boiling, obviously, but everything else does, and it's just a really ruthless sort of bacteria slash yeast, I suppose, that ferments at very, very low pH, and everything else dies. So that's why they, over the centuries, been able to preserve things like this by adding salt. You've got your salted pickles, herring, and things like that. All the other bacteria gets killed in the salt, except for this lactobacillus, this lactic bacillus. It thrives in that low pH, so it's brilliant. Anyway, this is very nice. The Teeling, if you have a chance to grab a bottle of Teeling, it's a little bit more expensive than your stock standard blend. It is a blend, so this one's a small batch blend. But it's very nice, and I really rate it at 46%. The packaging's really good. I love having those sorts of things. So I've got a wee collection of Teeling packaging like that, the tins and stuff. I don't like paying an extra for it, but you get glasses and you get the tin can. But I mean, to me, it's just promotion. They're promoting their product. I don't really see why you should have to pay more, but I do because I quite like it. All right, I'm going to go. Baxter, you're going to say goodbye? See ya. As I say, I'm doing well here. Planes are starting to fly over. They'll be dropping parachutists out here, so people like to do that. So I'll be back next week with an update on the what was I going to say, pickles, but the fermented veggies. And until then, take care and keep brewing. And it's always good to hear from you. Cheers.